the goal this year is to read more comic books than I buy. Okay, so right now I'm at 14 comics read, and I think I've only bought 4 comic books this year, but I have not gone to pick up my pull list at Acme Comics. So I'm sure that's going to be about equal when I go pick them up next week. So this video, I just want to talk about a couple of the comic books that I read this week, and 2 comic books in particular. I got the first issue of Absolute Wonder Woman, and I got the first issue of Star Trek: The Last Starship. Okay, now I read mostly superhero comic books, and indie comic books, but this right here, this Absolute Wonder Woman, hey, this is another level, man. Just this first issue was really, really good. Kelly Thompson, I believe, wrote this issue, and the main art is done by Hayden Sherman. And this right here, man, I'm telling you, when you talking about retelling a classic superhero story, I complain a lot about Marvel and DC using these main characters too much. I do. I'm one of those people who are like, man, I don't want to see Uncle Ben die again. I don't want to go through Bruce Wayne's tragic backstory again. We should be able to introduce new characters to tell these stories. But this right here, the whole Absolute universe, actually, I think this is a good excuse to do something like this. This right here is a story that could have been a complete new Amazon story, but because it's Wonder Woman, a lot more people are getting their eyes on it. Okay, I really think that this could have been a new Amazon. This could have been a brand new story from some part of DC's lore, or they could have created a new Amazon, a new Amazonian woman in, the Themyscirian lore, and it would have been just fine. It would have been a great story. It would have been the same story, but because it's Wonder Woman, a lot more people are buying the books. A lot more people are getting to know these stories, and is that okay? I feel like it is okay, but at the same time, I'm an indie writer. I'm a writer, and I want to make new stories and tell new impactful stories. So it's like, I understand where they're coming from. DC is a business, and they got to make money. But I'm absolutely happy that this particular story, came out. I do think that, if they would give new stories a chance and put talented writers like Kelly Thompson on the new stories, they could really build stories that can last. They could build characters and stories that can last for 10, 20, 30, 50 years, and really build out the stable for the DC universe. Not just have to rely on Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman to pay the bills, because eventually people are going to get tired of those characters. Maybe not. Maybe we won't get tired of those characters, but I think that this right here, I just really enjoyed it. For the first issue, I already got the trade. I had the trade, the Absolute Wonder Woman trade. Hold on. I already got the trade, and I knew I was gonna read it all, but I already had the first issue, so I wanted to read the first issue. Because last year when I was reading Absolute Batman, I asked Jermaine at Acme Comics and Pete, and I was like, okay, I liked Absolute Batman. I'm not big on the big titles anymore, but I really enjoyed Absolute Batman. The Absolute Annual was good, and I was looking into DCKO, and I was like, what if I liked Absolute Batman? What else should I read? And they were like, you gotta read Absolute Wonder Woman. It's better than Absolute Batman. And I was like, it's better than Absolute Batman? Like, okay, if you say so. But this first issue really, really does a good job of setting the stage for Diana. I really liked. It was really emotional, with the mother and daughter. It was really different. I really love the design. This dark design, this dark Wonder Woman design, when she's riding this skeleton Pegasus thing, which is pretty cool. I really just enjoyed it. The huge sword. She's got a different lasso. It doesn't say it's a lasso of truth or anything, but she does have a lasso in this one. But the one thing they added is that she's a witch. Her mother trained her in witchcraft, and you see from a young age she was very strong and very talented, and but they didn't want her to know that she's an Amazon, which was pretty cool. And I'm gonna keep up with this story. I know it's probably issue 10 or something like that by now, but I really enjoyed this first issue, so I'm gonna get caught up on Absolute Wonder Woman. But this right here, Star Trek: The Last Starship. Man, I'm a big Star Trek fan. I love Star Trek shows and movies. I love the universe that they've built with these characters. I'm a Voyager fan. Voyager was the one that I first started watching. I think it was like Thursday nights on UPN back in the day after SmackDown or something like that. It was I didn't start watching it on purpose. I did not start watching it on purpose. I was just one day I was watching it and I was like, "Oh, these characters are kind of cool." It was one of the episodes with Seven of Nine, of course, and the Doctor. And I was like, "Oh, this show is kind of cool." So I started watching it. I think I'm really sure it came on like Thursday nights after SmackDown, and because I was definitely watching wrestling, but I wasn't. I just happened to catch an episode of Star Trek Voyager, and then I went on to love a lot of the other series. But this one, The Last Starship, this is actually takes place in one of those gray areas. Now, if you watch Discovery, you'll know that there's this thing that's called the burn that happened, where all the dilithium in the galaxy exploded and destroyed all the starships, all the warp drives and things like that in the universe, in the Star Trek universe. And this right here kind of starts in that journey. Now, we already know, if you saw Discovery, why the burn happened, but we don't know how the Federation adjusted during that time. So we see in this one, this first issue, we see this starship and this crew, they get ready for a meeting with the Gorn. The Gorn is popping up all over the place these days. But they get ready for this meeting with the Gorn, and they're gonna finally accept the Gorn into the Federation. The Gorn has been one of the longest running enemies of the Federation of Planets. And, there's a standoff. You get to see the Gorn here. And then something happens. All the starships explode. We see the burn happen. And almost everybody dies. But they get a chance to transport a few people out of this starship. And we're following those few people, those few crewmates on a new mission. And one of the cool things that happens in here is that I think they're down to like 1% of the fleet. But what they end up having to do is team up with an old enemy, and it's the Borg. It's the Borg. They have to team up with the Borg in order to travel the galaxies again, because the Borg didn't use dilithium. But this is a really interesting story. I really enjoyed this first issue. The writing was good. The art is good. And I'm a fan of Star Trek. So this is another one I'm going to be checking out. Like I said, my goal is to read more comics this year than I buy. And I'm keeping up with it over on my Instagram. If you follow me on Instagram, at the Ace Blade, you can see I got it in my stories, each comic book that I read. But what are your favorite comic books these days? I want to find new things to read. I want to find new stories. And just enjoying all the comic books, man. I love superhero stuff. I love sci-fi. I'm getting into some horror comics too. I'm gonna give it a shot. But anyways, if you like this, make sure you like and subscribe. I'm gonna be doing more stuff like this for the Four Tales podcast as well as my channel. And I just want to talk about comic books and superheroes and stuff like that. So drop a comment. Tell me what you've been reading. But until next time, stay vigilant, my friends. I'm out of here.